Have you ever walked into a room and suddenly forgotten why you went in there? Or maybe you found yourself searching for your glasses only to realize they've been sitting on your head the whole time. Don't worry, you're not alone. It happens to all of us, especially as the years go by. But here's the good news. Just like our muscles, our brains can stay strong and sharp with the right kind of exercise. Now, I'm not talking about solving crossword puzzles for hours or diving into advanced math problems. No, I mean fun, simple, and surprisingly effective memory games you can enjoy at your own pace, maybe with a friend, a grandchild, or even while waiting for your tea to steep. Little moments like those are perfect opportunities to keep your mind active, alert, and full of life. Keeping our memory sharp isn't just about avoiding forgetfulness. It's about staying connected to the stories we carry, the people we love, and the joyful details of everyday life. Whether it's remembering your niece's birthday, where you put the car keys, or that hilarious story you've been meaning to share at Sunday lunch, having a clear and lively memory can make every day feel more fulfilling. Today, we're going to explore some delightful ways to train your brain and help it remember better. Think of them like gentle workouts for your mind, but instead of lifting weights, we'll be lifting memories, attention, and focus. And don't worry, these games aren't just useful, they're enjoyable too. Let's start with one that many people overlook, even though it's right in front of them: noticing details. Have you ever looked out the window and tried to count how many birds are at the feeder? Or glanced around your living room and tried to recall the color of the cushions without peeking? These little challenges tap into something called observation memory. One simple way to turn this into a game is to pick a familiar room in your house. Sit down, close your eyes, and try to remember what's on each wall, what picture hangs by the sofa, what's on the shelf, even what color the curtains are. Then open your eyes and see how close you were. It might sound easy, but you'd be surprised how often our eyes see things our brain doesn't quite register. You can make it more fun by involving someone else. Ask them to move one item in the room while you step out for a moment. When you return, see if you can spot what's changed. It's like playing a live version of Spot the Difference, and it gives your brain a wonderful little workout in paying attention and recalling details. Now, let's talk about a memory game that uses rhythm and repetition, something most of us are already familiar with: remembering lists. But instead of a boring shopping list, turn it into a story. Let's say you need to remember apples, socks, a book, and a flashlight. Try turning that into a silly little scene. An apple fell out of my sock while I was reading a book under a flashlight. The more ridiculous the story, the better your brain remembers it. It's true. Our minds love strange, funny, and unexpected things. This technique helps link unrelated items in a way that sticks. Try it out the next time you're going to the store, and you might be surprised how much more you remember. And don't be afraid to speak it out loud. There's something about saying things that helps the brain lock them in tighter. When you speak, hear, and imagine something all at once, it creates more connections in your memory, like tying knots in a strong rope instead of just a single strand. Another fun and friendly way to strengthen memory is through word association games. Remember playing those as a kid? You say one word, and someone else responds with the first word that comes to mind. For example, I say ocean, you might say sand, and then I say castle, and so on. You can play this with a friend or even by yourself. Just see how long you can keep the chain going. If you want to make it a bit more challenging, try going backward afterward and seeing if you can recall the chain in reverse. It might get a little silly, but that's the beauty of it. It keeps the mind light, playful, and alive. These aren't just games. They're gentle ways of staying in touch with the world, with yourself, and with those precious little moments that make life colorful and full. And the more you do them, the easier it becomes to keep track of not just objects and names, but memories, stories, and the things that truly matter. Now, let's keep going and explore more ways you can train your brain to remember better. No stress, just little steps with big rewards. One of the most enjoyable ways to train your memory doesn't require anything fancy, just a deck of cards. Do you remember playing concentration or memory with your children or grandchildren? It's the one where you lay the cards face down and try to find matching pairs by remembering where you saw them. That game isn't just for kids. It's a powerful memory booster for grown-ups too. You can play it alone or with a partner, and it gently encourages your brain to focus, recall, and make quick decisions, all while keeping things light and fun. If you don't have playing cards, you can even make your own version using small pieces of paper. Just write or draw matching symbols or words on each pair. Start with a small grid and increase the number of pairs as you get more confident. Over time, you'll likely notice your short-term memory getting sharper and maybe even feel a little more mentally agile during your day. But here's something especially lovely. Memory games don't always have to be formal. Sometimes, the best ones are woven into our daily lives without us even realizing it. For example, have you ever tried recalling a story you used to tell your children when they were little? Maybe a bedtime tale or something funny that happened on a family trip. Try telling that story again, but this time, pause and see how many little details you can add. What color was the car you drove? What song was playing on the radio? What did your son or daughter say that made everyone laugh? By digging into those old memories, you're doing more than just reminiscing. You're exercising parts of the brain responsible for long-term memory and emotional connection. And every time you tell that story, you bring those moments to life again, not just for yourself, but for whoever's lucky enough to be listening. Sometimes, the act of remembering is a gift in itself, both to you and the ones you share it with. Now, let's switch things up a little with something you might not expect to help your memory. Music. Yes, music. Think about a song you loved in your 20s or 30s. You might not have heard it in decades, but when it plays, suddenly the lyrics come rushing back, sometimes word for word. That's because music taps into a unique part of the brain that holds emotional and sensory memories. One wonderful memory game you can play with yourself or someone else is to hum a tune and see if you can recall the next line, or better yet, sing the whole chorus. Try picking songs from different decades of your life and challenge yourself to remember what was happening in your world when that song was popular. Were you dancing in your kitchen? Was it your wedding song? Or a favorite on long drives? Even better, make a playlist of songs from each decade you've lived through. As you listen, close your eyes and allow yourself to drift into those memories, where you were, who you were with, how you felt. Then, share those memories with someone else. That simple act connects you to your past and opens a window into your experiences that others might never have heard before. All of this, cards, stories, songs, they're more than just activities. They're lifelines. They help us stay engaged, present, and connected to who we are and where we've been. And the best part is, they're enjoyable. There's no pressure to be perfect, no points to win or lose, just the gentle joy of playing with your own memory and seeing where it takes you. So, whether you're flipping cards at the kitchen table, retelling the story of your first date, or singing along with your favorite oldie, you're doing something meaningful. You're keeping your mind awake and alive. And sometimes, all it takes is a little spark, one note, one word, one image, to light up an entire memory that's been resting quietly inside you. Let's keep that spark going. There are still a few more wonderful ways to keep your memory in shape, and you might be surprised by how simple and satisfying they can be. Another beautiful way to keep your memory sharp is something many of us already do without even realizing it: learning something new. Now, I'm not talking about going back to school or picking up complicated subjects. I mean little bits of learning that feel more like discovery than effort. For instance, have you ever tried learning a few phrases in another language? Just a handful, like good morning, thank you, or how are you? Even picking up a new recipe or the names of birds you see outside your window can give your brain that gentle stretch it needs to stay limber. Learning stimulates the brain in powerful ways. When we try something new, even something as small as memorizing the name of a neighbor's dog or the layout of a new store, we encourage our brain to make fresh connections. These connections help us remember not just the new things, but also improve how we recall the old. It's like keeping a garden well watered. Everything grows a little better when you tend to it regularly. And here's something that often gets overlooked: the power of conversation. Have you ever noticed how a good chat with an old friend can suddenly stir up memories you hadn't thought about in years? Talking, especially storytelling, activates memory and language centers in the brain. Even better if you're laughing. Humor wakes up your brain and your heart at the same time. You can make a game out of conversation too. Next time you're with someone close to you, challenge each other to remember the name of your third-grade teacher, or what the family dog was called when you were kids, or the color of the front door in the house you grew up in. These little memory sparks often lead to larger stories, and those stories lead to connections. That's the true gift of memory, not just remembering facts, but remembering feelings, moments, and the people who made life what it is. And if you ever feel frustrated when something slips your mind, just take a deep breath and give yourself grace. Memory isn't about being perfect, it's about being present. Every effort you make to stay mentally active, no matter how small, makes a difference. And it's never too late to begin. Your brain is still learning, still growing, and still hungry for new experiences. So if today you played a memory card game, or sang a song from the 60s, or told your grandson about the first car you ever owned, you've already done something wonderful for your mind and your spirit. These little things add up, day by day. You don't need high-tech gadgets or expensive programs. You've already got everything you need. Your stories, your curiosity, your laughter, your willingness to try. And remember, you're not walking this journey alone. There's a whole world of people out there just like you, wanting to stay sharp, stay joyful, and stay connected. So, if you've enjoyed this video, I'd love for you to leave a comment and share one memory game or story that's helped you. Maybe it's a favorite song that always brings you back, or a game you play with your grandkids that makes you feel young again. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because we've got many more heartwarming, helpful conversations ahead. Your presence here means so much, and together, we can keep growing, learning, and remembering what matters most. You're never too old to feel young again, and your mind, just like your heart, is always ready for a little joy, a little play, and a whole lot of love. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.